Thank you very much, Michelle, and thank you also to the Appraisal Foundation for having all of us here today. It's a pleasure to be here, and we've enjoyed the work we're doing so far with the Appraisal Foundation and other organizations that help on appraisal issues, so we are thrilled to be here today. As Dave told you, my name is Maria Vargas. I work at the Department of Energy. I have to tell you, prior to coming to the Department of Energy, I worked at the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, for 25 years on issues of energy efficiency and was the brand manager for the Energy Star program. So my hope today is to talk to you a little bit. As you can see, the title of the presentation is Federal Efforts to Encourage Greater Energy Efficiency, and that is an awfully big title and an awfully big subject for 30 minutes. So please know I don't pretend to talk about all the things that the federal government is doing to pursue and to achieve greater efficiency and work with the marketplace to do that. I want to hit on some of the highlights, particularly that DOE and EPA are doing. And I also want to talk to you a little bit about what we have now, but then also some of the things that we're working on at the Department of Energy, looking towards the future and trying to fill gaps to help the market function better and understand the role of efficiency. And then I do want to also mention a little bit of our work towards the end that we're doing with all of you, spearheaded by the Appraisal Foundation. So why does the federal government care about energy efficiency? Well, there are a whole host of reasons. Having worked at the Environmental Protection Agency, I can tell you that energy efficiency is a huge bed of opportunity to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But what we all know is it really is also the fastest, cheapest, largest way to save energy and money and to create jobs in this country. The potential is huge. What we know in this country is that we can save about 30% on average in homes, buildings, and industrial facilities across this country cost effectively. We can achieve a lot more that requires a little bit more of investment, and so the technical potential is much higher, but cost-effective investments in energy efficiency can yield on average 30% savings. That's huge. That's money that's not going into our energy bills that can go, if you're a school district, to buying more books, if you're a homeowner, to go to buy more pizza dinners or whatever you choose to spend it on. You get the idea, and to create more jobs in the commercial arena. Just to give you a sense of energy efficiency in the commercial sector, the bottom stat is just for the commercial sector. Energy efficiency can save about 20% of energy use, and you can see how the numbers of money and jobs lines up pretty impressively. So just shifting gears to what Dave asked me to talk about, which is particularly some of the activities that are underway at the federal level. So there's a whole host of things that happen at the federal arena. There's a lot of research and development in more energy efficient technologies and systems integrations. There are codes and standards that we use. Many of you probably realize that a lot of the white goods that you buy for your home, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, all of those, there are minimum standards for efficiency that guide what we can manufacture and sell in this country. So that really sets the floor, but is a significant policy tool. I'm not going to talk really about either of those. What I really wanted to focus on today are some of the policy solutions, and then really focusing on a lot of the voluntary efforts that we have underway to drive greater efficiency, to help move the market in a very market-driven way. So it's not to distort the market, but really figure out for the long term how to drive greater efficiency in the market in a very sustainable way. So just giving you a sense of how these fit together, a number of these slides I'm going to go through fairly quickly. I just want to give you a sense that all of this does fit together. So we do research and development. We work very hard to make sure that there are market-based solutions, codes and standards, which increase the floor, if you will, the basic level of efficiency that we have in this country. So it's a nicely integrated strategy. It's also a strategy that understands the challenges in the marketplace. So we know, for example, consumers, once they're convinced that efficiency is the right thing to do, they need tools and to know how it is to be efficient. I mean, it's a very simple question to ask, but in reality, though, it's a little bit harder, or it has been, for consumers to find how to be more energy efficient. What do I do? It's the same thing with homeowners that are thinking about what to do in their home, and then it gets even more challenging in a commercial and industrial arena. Lots of opportunities, and how do those integrate? So what I tried to show on the side is just, and we're not going to go through those, is just there's a whole host of activities that are really wed and designed to overcome the barriers and the challenges in the marketplace. So I have only 4 slides on the residential marketplace. Again, given the time, there's a lot of things we can talk about, but I just wanted to highlight a couple of the tools that the government has in place to drive greater efficiency in the market. Hopefully everyone in the room is familiar with the Energy Star label. It is a voluntary program, but has grown successfully, tremendously successful in the 20 years that it's been around. It is a label that identifies for consumers the most efficient products in the marketplace. And it has been amazingly successful. There's over 3 billion products that have earned the Energy Star that have been sold since the program started in '92. So a very successful platform. And the kinds of products that are covered by the Energy Star label excuse me, that pretty much covers the gamut of what's in your home. So, and to that point, we also offer the Energy Star label on new homes. So a new home can earn the Energy Star if it is 30%, typically about 30% more efficient than the model energy code. We are working as the Department of Energy with the folks at EPA on Energy Star to take Energy Star yet one more step, and it's really to help those consumers who, because Energy Star at its base is a cost-effective solution. So the promise to the marketplace when you see Energy Star, no matter where you see it, is that it's a cost-effective solution. And there are consumers we know in the market who are willing to pay a lot more for products because they're more efficient, so either for the technology factor or because they are committed and want to do it for environmental or social norms reasons, whatever. So we're working on a pilot now that identifies for consumers across 6 product categories now, which are the most efficient products in the marketplace. And as you can see, the way that's been designed is a yearly award, if you will. It's kind of thinking through it like, you know, you get toy awards of the year. This is sort of the awards of the year that EPA and DOE are giving on those products. And then the last thing I wanted to let you know is a little bit about what's going on at the Department of Energy around, because I know I have been, Dave and Paula and Thede have all beaten to my head that appraisers want data, they want information, and they want lots of facts and figures to back up things. Well, we're going down that path in the residential arena. We are pilot testing a home score. We'll talk a little bit about this. This is sort of based on what we did with the Energy Star program in terms of assigning a score based on actual energy bills to a home so that a home can earn recognition and actually understand where it is in terms of efficiency when you compare it to other like homes. So we are in a pilot phase on that, and we're looking forward to rolling that out nationally over the next couple years. So I know that most of you, I think most of you, are focused on issues in the commercial marketplace. So I just wanted to talk very quickly about a couple of things that are going on in the commercial marketplace. We know that energy efficiency increases the value of commercial buildings in several ways. Asset value, we know that it helps to attract and retain tenants. It reduces your operating expenses. It positions you well in a whole number of areas. If reliability is an area of concern in your part of the country, that's a very important part of what energy efficiency can provide. But most importantly, I think it really does allow you to understand what you have, gain control of it, and then take action to improve it. So one of the questions that people used to ask us was, I was actually working in California in the early 90s on energy efficiency issues, and there were innumerable times where people would come and ask me, Maria, I just put a new HVAC system on my roof. Am I good now? Am I better? Tell me, am I efficient? And the answer was, well, you're better than you were, but I don't know how to help you compare what that means really in the marketplace. So what we realized was everyone understood miles per gallon for cars, but nobody was really focused on how to measure and describe energy use in buildings and then use that as a way to compare buildings and their efficiency. So there is a tool that EPA developed. It's called Portfolio Manager. Just show of hands, how many folks are familiar? Anybody's heard of Portfolio Manager? Okay, thank you. 1 or 2 hands. I was just curious. So this is a tool that asks for, so prior to Portfolio Manager, the way we were understanding efficiency in a building was based on how the building was built or the modeled energy, or how the building was modeled, what people projected based on the way it was built. And what Portfolio Manager did that was so important to the marketplace is it took real data. It takes a year's worth of energy bills and normalizes for the kind of building that it is. So we only compare hospitals to hospitals, hotels to hotels, as you can imagine. You have to do it building type by building type. But on a scale of 1 to 100, it allows you to assess how efficient your building is compared to other like buildings. And it normalizes for climate, occupancy, a number of activities. So if you are a hotel chain and you own a portfolio of hotels, it tells you, you can now, for the first time, benchmark hotels and compare a hotel in Miami to one in Minnesota to one in Maine, and actually begin to look across your portfolio on real energy data. I think that's the real key point. It's not what you guess the building is using in terms of energy, it's the real energy bill data. So it's a very valuable tool in the market in helping to drive and use real energy costs and use to understand your building. Buildings that score a 75 or higher are eligible to use the Energy Star on their building. And to get the Energy Star, the data has to be third-party verified by a professional engineer. And it is also vintaged for the year in which you get it. So now I challenge all of you, there's a whole host of buildings within the DC metropolitan area that have earned the Energy Star. Most of them have placards on their building, and so now as you walk around either DC or your hometown, I encourage you to look for those because it's fun to see which buildings in your area have earned the Energy Star. So just a little bit more about the energy performance score that you get. And then just quickly, the portfolio manager and this benchmarking ability is now available for about 80% of the marketplace. So all the building types that you see now can earn the Energy Star. So a couple things that the rating tool does and what it does not do. As you can see, it doesn't look at the pieces of equipment. It does not explain why consumption is what it is. It is just a way to evaluate currently how the building is operating. And just a couple quick things, the kinds of information you need in Portfolio Manager. And then I'm just going to go through these slides very quickly because there's a lot more information on the website, so we don't need to talk about that here. I'd rather save time for your questions. So the important thing is you do get a statement of energy performance for a building, and then you can generate a report. This goes back to my hotel example. If you are a hotel owner and you want to look across your facilities, it allows you to generate reports that really understand what your portfolio is doing and how efficient they are. An important tool, and I wanted to show you a couple things. Portfolio Manager has now been adopted by a lot of governments. They're now leveraging this, whether they're requiring their buildings to get a building rating or get a score prior to some transaction, or whether they're requiring it as a precursor to leasing. There's a number of ways that states and local governments are using Portfolio Manager to get at the disclosure of energy use data as an important part of the marketplace and understanding efficiency. Just a couple quick slides. Those are hard to read, so I don't want to dwell on them too much. And then the last thing on Portfolio Manager, it is part of ongoing and ever-expanding commercial online databases, but also apps are starting to use it. So it's a very valuable tool in the marketplace that continues to be refined. So I want to shift now a little bit to some of the work that the Department of Energy is doing to complement what's going on at EPA with Energy Star. DOE is working very hard on an asset rating tool. So we're working with our colleagues at EPA on Portfolio Manager, and the idea is that this would be a complementary tool in the marketplace that really understands an asset rating. So just looking at the assets of a building as opposed to an operational rating, which is what Portfolio Manager is. So the goal is really to have these two systems work together, but also be able, the asset rating allows you to detangle a little bit some of what's going on in the building and really look at the assets that that building has and understand the energy use and the possible improvements and energy efficiency upgrades that could come in the future. So there are a whole number of reasons that we think an asset rating tool is very important. So it's, we're hoping that, like Portfolio Manager, we can help move towards a national standard to help stakeholders. It's another piece of data for building owners and managers to get a handle on their energy use and really provide a feedback loop on energy efficiency in the marketplace. And we are looking to make this work with other building systems. I think one of the goals that we have in the federal government is to, one of the obstacles to greater energy efficiency is market confusion. I don't know what to do. There's so many things going on in the market. And as a result, we don't want to drive people to inaction because they're immobilized by or confused by what to do, what to use, who to believe, who to trust. So the goal is to have a lot of the systems, whether they're the government systems or systems from private sector, interact as best they can and complement each other, because at the end of the game, the goal and the result that everyone's trying to achieve is greater energy efficiency. And helping you as appraisers is a key part of that, because you are very data-driven in what you're interested and what you need to have to be able to identify and correctly describe the efficiency measures of a building. And so a lot of the work that we're doing is trying to move greater understanding and greater data on energy and energy use in a building. So there are a bunch of next steps on the asset rating tool. We are in very preliminary stages. As a matter of fact, I've gone this far as a government bureaucrat without using an acronym, so I'm going to use my first one. So we have an RFI, a request for information out, that closes today. So we are really asking for feedback on the market, from the marketplace, on the asset rating tool. So we are actively working with appraisal professionals, because we think that this tool will be particularly important to your industry. So just because the comment period closed on the RFI doesn't mean that we need or we should stop talking to you. So please, if you have comments, questions, issues, now's the time, because again, we are just beginning to build this house and we would love your feedback. So the other thing that the Department of Energy is working on, which is similarly in a very preliminary stage, is a building performance database. We're really trying to understand how we can, and this dovetails, there's a lot going on. So if you think about lots of state and local activity around building disclosure, lots of organizations beginning to understand, identify, and pursue energy efficiency as a strategic goal, the request and really thirst for more data in the marketplace is becoming greater and greater. So one of the things we're hoping to do with this database is to really begin to look at very specific measures within a building, and then be able to have an actuarial database, if you will, a little bit about not only what the building looks like, what the R values of the windows are, what the EUI, the energy intensity of the building, how much energy it uses, the climate zone. So it's really trying to compile massive amounts of information on data so that you can begin to guess and prognosticate a little bit about, if you make changes in your building, what that will really achieve in terms of financial savings and energy savings. So so these are some key attributes of the database that we're trying to build. It really is trying to also, one of the roles of the federal government is to provide, it's sort of, I think even up on the slide somewhere it says national taxonomy, but the idea is there are all these state and local governments and all these states doing work, which is phenomenal, but at some point it becomes confusing. And so what the government's hoping to do, what DOE is hoping to do with this database, is to provide similar use of terms, really the definition of terms, so that these tools and these systems begin to interact. It's not unlike what Energy Star did in the marketplace when it came. When I started working on Energy Star, utilities all over the country worked very hard to define their own measure of what efficiency meant, and then that's how they would rebate or offer you as a consumer an incentive for buying a more efficient refrigerator. And it really was a patchwork of 50 different folks, or 50, 40, 60 different organizations trying to define what efficiency was. So what Energy Star did was try and come in and be a national standard, so nobody, you don't have to have 50 people doing the same amount of work, but it's really so that you have a national vocabulary to talk about this, and then different states can be more aggressive. You can use that, but it's a very valuable tool to have a national dialogue that actually moves the market forward. Our hope is, and our knowledge of this database is, that it will be very robust. We're very cognizant that this is a multi-year process. This will take a while. It requires, for it to do well, we have to have a lot of data, and it has to be high quality data, and we know that. So we're very excited about the database, but we're also very realistic that it's going to take a couple years to move a database system into the market that does primarily, for folks like you all, will have the specificity to function the way you need it to function. Michelle talked a little bit about the Better Buildings Initiative. It's something we're very excited and very actively working on at the Department of Energy. I'm not going to reiterate the goals, but the potential savings in the commercial sector is overwhelming in terms of what we can do for greater efficiency. And so really what we're trying to do in the Better Buildings Challenge is to reach out to the leaders of organizations And we know that this is the way to get it done. Because if a facility manager has to fight up the corporate chain for attention on energy, it only reinforces the idea that energy is an overhead cost and it's just a bill we pay every month, as opposed to being an area of strategic investment for that organization. And what you'll find, if you haven't already seen it in the marketplace, it's pretty amazing. Companies that are well run and well managed already get this. They understand that efficiency needs to happen at the C-suite. They know that energy efficiency is a core place of not only paying money, but investing. And so it's something that we're trying to reinforce in the Better Buildings Challenge. What we're really trying to do is have partners step up in the marketplace who are willing to be transparent in what they've done and how they've become market leaders and so invested in energy efficiency, and have those organizations serve as not only the vanguard for the marketplace, but mentors for other organizations. And that's why we're going after different sectors. We are looking for hospitals who are willing to step up and be mentors for other hospitals who are looking to do the same kinds of efficiency measures and have the same results, but have them not have to spend the years it took some of these leading hospitals to figure it out. They can just leapfrog over the learning and actually take in and do and follow the lead of some of these examples. And it's a big lift. As I tell people, this isn't, what I'm looking for and what we're looking for in challenge participants isn't everyone. It takes, the true leaders in the marketplace who are going to step up, be transparent about what they've done, share it with other people, and continue to drive and lead in the efficiency space. And we're doing that for both the commercial marketplace and the industrial marketplace, which is very exciting. And so one of the other things we're really hoping to do in the challenge, let me just go back, is to, if you think back to one of the slides I showed with all the problems and the challenges to efficiency and driving greater efficiency, we're really trying to overcome some of those with some of the work that people have done and having them be transparent about. A classic example I hear about in the commercial marketplace all the time is our corporate hurdle rate is set too high for efficiency investments. And so there have been a number of organizations that have figured out how to set different hurdle rates depending on the level of risk in the organization and the level of risk in the investment. And so it's getting those folks to walk others through how they were able to do it and show that it worked. And that's the kind of thing we're looking for in the marketplace, these innovative solutions. So one of our organizations is Best Buy, but this is the kind of thing we're looking to profile. All these organizations are committing sizable square footage. Michelle mentioned so far 300 million square feet is committed. It's actually more than that, but we're moving to get more and more organizations in. They have to set a goal and then are going to share what they're doing with the marketplace, including, this is the hurdle rate example that I just spoke to you about. We want real information about how they made that happen in their organization. And I just want to close on working with you as appraisers in the marketplace. We are excited about the MOU with the Appraisal Foundation because we really hope and understand the role that the foundation plays in the marketplace in terms of setting standards and guidelines to work with you to help. We're not valuators. We don't understand the market the way you do, but we do understand efficiency. And so our hope is in marrying your skills, your interests with what we know and the information we have. We can help the marketplace value efficiency and other sustainability practices in a way that's not only sustainable, but easy for the marketplace to absorb and digest. And so we are looking forward to working with you on a number of the activities you have. And we are most importantly also looking for, the reason I separated out the last two bullets is we're looking for your feedback too. So we need you to help us. So we're looking for your input on the asset rating tool that we're developing as well as the database tool. And then anything else that you see the department doing, we're always happy for input because it makes us do our job better. So with that, I just wanted to say thank you again for having me here, and I'm looking forward to questions and answers. Thank you very much.